Three, two, one. All right, welcome, Wanderer. Hope you are doing well today. This is going to be a short video just about the flat earth, Eric Dubay, and the flat earth propaganda. You should be ashamed of yourself. You took away my childhood. All right. I'm just being playful a little bit. But seriously, let's get down to brass tacks. Let's talk about it. This vast level plane on which with we live and dwell. I had heard about the level plane idea when I was a boy. And I remember reading about it and glossing over it. It was in either the Illuminati trilogy by Dr. Bob or his doctoral thesis, Prometheus Rising. It's one of those places, one of the two. But I saw a picture in an old Hebrew manuscript where they had it all laid out and the tetragrammaton supporting the whole thing conceptually. And honestly, I didn't think much about it. I would never have considered myself a flat earther. I was a plane rider, of course, a surfer. And it just didn't seem to matter. I took the approach like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle lays out with Sherlock Holmes that the mind is an attic, like the top of a house. And you only have a certain amount of storage capacity. And you don't want to put ideas in there that you're not using that aren't utilitarian to you at the time of whatever work you're engaged in. So the level plane just passed into the history books for me. Never worried about it. Never really bought into the whole globular space experience either, though, even though I grew up, Hollywood, Disneyland. It just didn't seem to matter in my day to day application of pursuing the way and magic. But around the same time as Monsieur Dubé, I'd never heard of him. And I guess it was around 2017 when I flew home and I had revisited Prometheus Rising, and I was reading it on my tablet computer, my iPad one, right, when they were real heavy and not so expensive, and I thought it'd be a good way to read books. That I came across that little cartoon again and contemplated as I flew over the vast plain and tried to force myself to believe that there was curvature, or not force myself in either direction, but try to figure out whether I could detect any type of curvature, any type of curvature effect at all. And I contemplated from point A to point B, flying from Beijing to Los Angeles. Robert Anton Wilson suggests that you do paradigm shifting to the level where you try to gather enough data and information that you can convince yourself of a certain reality tunnel. Like you're looking down this tunnel, you're head on and you're looking at it, and you're like, wow, I'm in total darkness. And you convince yourself that that's a genuine reality. So I did this thought experiment and I went home to the States and I told friends and family that I was going to do this thought experiment about living on a level plane. And I had never received more ridicule in my entire life. And I've had some harebrained schemes before, but I had never been badgered so hard. And I got accused of being a member of the Flat Earth Society. I didn't even know what any of these things were. I had been isolated in China for nearly 20 years. No, at that point, it was 16 years. And I didn't have any contact with social media at the time. I didn't know who Eric Dubay was. I didn't know what the Flat Earth Society was. But I received so much ridicule and blowback that I thought, this must be something worth looking at. So I really did it. I told my uncle I was going to just do it for 2 weeks, but I ended up doing it for like 6 weeks. And I honestly, I didn't find out about Eric until I moved back to China until much later on. Like I think it was during the lockdown of 2020 that I started watching a lot of YouTube And that's when came across him, and I'm like, good God, this guy figured it all out. And then it turns out that he figured it all out in 2017, or he was doing all of the research, but the culmination of his emergence was like 2017. And I was like, holy fuck. And I just started thinking about it recently. And I thought, is that a coincidence, or is that a clear cut example of the thousand monkey effect? Right? You know, the thousand monkey effect, like monkeys on one island, if they learn a certain skill or have a revelation, then monkeys on nearby islands and other places around the world will get a genetic download, as it were. I don't know, some sort of telepathic hive mind communication, and they'll all figure it out at the same time. Like after that one monkey figures it out, the other monkeys will just know how to do what that monkey figured out. You've heard about this before, right? There's experimentation, there's factual scientific evidence to support it. And so I was sitting here in my dorm room, and I just watched an Eric Dubay video. I guess he's returned home to the States. And I thought, there it is there. I'm like, why did it hit me so hard? And I get curious about it and then really start researching it and then do an entire paradigm shift, a magical shift of the attention point where like I went on a shamanistic journey. I mean, not really researching it or looking into it the way he did, but looking for the experiential evidence to disprove it. Not using any type of strange apparatus or anything, but just questioning myself daily for months if there was any tangible way that I could verify anything other than this expansive, level, motionless plane. And if any of the other NASA Disneyland, sci-fi NASA Disneyland Nazi paperclip scientist stuff that they put on television, if any of that could make any rational sense, and I used logic and reason, and ultimately I determined it's much harder to believe in a globular spheroid promoted by the likes of your latest television pseudoscientist than it is to experience a level, flat plane of reality. And when I did this in meditation, my magic, I don't know, you guys don't might not know much about magic, right? And the pathway of magic. But having centered myself on a level plane, emotionally and spiritually, physically, and accepted that reality that it was a mystery, but it was that the cosmos and the world we live in is definitely mysterious, but that this level, stable, expansive plane in all directions that we can detect is reality. Then like my magic lit up like a Christmas tree, man. I connected with the Godhead on such a higher level than I've ever experienced. And I felt humbled. And I just wanted to say thank you to Eric Dubay for doing all the fucking heavy lifting so that we other thousand monkeys could enjoy and reap the benefits of his breakthroughs, because somehow we did. I mean, telepathically, he sent it out. And he sent it out in other ways as well. You know, he wrote books and he brought the proof forward and put the ball back in the other, you know, in the sci-fi fantasy Nazi paperclip Disneyland Freemasonic space Nazis court. You know, and he's like, wow, you guys have got quite a fairy tale there. Is there any truth to it? Now it's your turn to show some evidence. And he gathered all the evidence that shows you that the reality you perceive and experience is the legitimate one, and the other Spaceballs one is just nonsense. And it really cracked the seal on a lot of things. Like it makes you look at Hollywood and their drive to promote the space race as the money pit that it really is, and it opens up so much. It's yeah. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for that, Eric. You have done good work, man. You have brought the great work one step more forward, right? One step closer to completion, at least for this individual. And for that, I say thank you. I tried to buy your book last Christmas and send it out to all my friends on Amazon, but they wouldn't let me do it because I didn't have a local credit card, U.S. credit card. They wouldn't accept a Chinese credit card. They wouldn't accept a bank transfer. They wouldn't allow me to do it in any way. And then I got back on there later and I bought something else, or I tried to, and it went through no problem. And I'm like, well, why can't I buy and distribute his book? And I didn't want to do it on Amazon anyway. I wanted to do it off the original website where the the companies that publish, print and publish the books, and Eric would make a little more money. So that's going to be part of my mission when I go home this time, is that I'm gonna get my local credit card established through local banking, and then reach out and I'm going to send it to people who laughed at me the most and ridiculed me the most. And I think the 200 proofs of a level plane is probably the one I'm going to buy, just as a coffee table item, that I'm going to tell them now. I'm going to say this is a joke, funny thing. Just put it on the coffee table. When people come over, you guys can laugh about it and poke fun at your nephew, the flat earther. And because then you're distributing the information anyway, it's going to be there. They're going to open it up. They're going to look inside, and then they're going to realize how wrong they've been. And you know, for that, we must say thank you to Monsieur Dubay. Thank you, sir, Eric. Merci beaucoup. And yeah, Ami Tofu. I don't know what else is going on, man. That's it. I just wanted to make a short video to say hello to everyone and say thank you. Make sure you check me out on www and buymeacoffee.com and put a little Frank Monday money in the tip jar. Send some love out to Eric Dubay, you guys. He's got a channel on here. I think it's just called Eric Dubay. I'm not sure. Probably should have done some research before I shot the video. Lulu, Lulu.com. Focus on Eric Dubay is where you can get his book. Make sure, if it's your first time, don't let it be your last time. Hit the thumbs up, like and subscribe, all that happy horse shit. Leave a comment. Tell me if you've awakened to this vast, endless plane. Don't tell me what you believe. Lao Tzu says there's three kinds of people in the world. He says there are those that hear the truth, and the average person, the average individual. They think of it now and again, right? And they're like, oh yeah, okay, that's wonderful. Like I was when I was young. It just doesn't really apply to me, even be it truth, or at least I thought it didn't. All right. And then there are those who hear of the truth and think of it night and day, from morning till evening. They just embrace it fully. And those people are extremely rare. I did that with magic. I did that with Kung Fu. I did that with esoteric Chinese Taoism and calligraphy and other things. But it wasn't until I hit like 47 that I did that with the level playing. But then there are those who hear of the truth, the vast majority, and they laugh out loud. They're like, ha, 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 you fool, you flat earther. Haven't you been to NASA? Haven't you seen the moon rocks? And Lao just says that's the vast majority of people are just like cattle. And the other thing he goes on to say is that if there were no laughter, then the Tao, the truth, would not be so great. So we need that feedback loop of the NPCs. They're like, he believes in it. And so I won't believe anything I know. I experience it every day. There's a vast difference between knowledge of self and knowledge of the cosmos than just belief. What is that? Folks tell me all the time, I don't believe in God, and I'm like, that's dandy. He doesn't believe in you either. If you separate yourself from truth, then you stand in darkness. So come on back over to the good side, and I'll see y'all good-looking sex people in the abodes of the future. Until next time, keep doing good magic. Bye for now.